So you want to be a Buccaneer. So you want to punch your enemies in the face with Fist of Fury. Well, then you've come to the right class. However, in first job, you're gonna be only kicking. Kicking is what you do in first job, and it's the only time you'll actually kick something. So enjoy it while it lasts. Somersault kick actually has invincibility frames. Can't really show it off with the weapon equipped, so let me take it off. So as you can see, I'm not taking damage even though I'm clearly on top of the enemy. Now that I'm not using it, of course I'm taking damage, I get misses. But while using it, you will not take damage from attacks that are not percent HP. This also works if you want to avoid like lava. If you go to El Nath and you just want to avoid taking damage from lava, that can also work. The only times I really use this, outside of first job training, is when fighting like Pink Bean or Horntail if I know a certain attack is coming and I want to dodge it, then I can do that. Ignore the aura, that comes in second job. But anywho, here it is, Somersault Kick. Right now mine is level 1. You also get Double Shot, but that's really just for gunslingers or corsairs. But, just to show you, here's all my equips. You can also train like this. You don't have to use only Somersault Kick. You could also just use Double Shot, if you really wanted to. Of course, you're only attacking one enemy, because Somersault Kick, of course, hits multiple enemies, but Double Shot does not. So it's really up to you how you want to train. It's also weaker, but of course you keep your distance, you attack faster. It's pretty nice. So you can always train like that if you want, first job. And then we have our passives. You get dash if you double tap left or right. You get this speed boost, which will also buff corkscrew blow or triple fire. And then we have Shadow Heart, which will increase your crit rate and crit damage. Bullet time, movement speed and jump, it's always nice. And then we move into second job. Alright, so now you reach second job, so you get a few new skills. You get Tornado Uppercut, which is a long-range tornado attack. It does use your energy charge, I'll go over that in a bit. And it doesn't go very far until you're charged up. So let me charge real quick, there we go. So now it'll turn blue and go much farther. And when you use an energy skill that, when you use an energy skill, not only does it change properties, but it also doesn't use any MP. And then of course there's this skill which will recover your HP and MP over time, so you're basically just recovering MP while you have your energy charged and using energy skills. So yeah, Tornado Uppercut, that's what it is. Long distance Tornado Punch. So next we have Energy Charge. So with this, you get this little meter here, and this will fill up with every attack that you do, unless you're already charged. If you're already charged, it will instead take away your energy. Well, unless you're using a skill that doesn't use energy, but later on, all your skills will, so yeah, I can spam this all day and be charged. It won't take away anything. But if I use an energy skill, instead of taking away MP, it'll take away energy. Oh, and of course you get buffed while your energy is charged, so that's pretty cool. Corkscrew Blow, I don't really use this skill. However, you could if you just want to stay still and attack something. The only time that I really use it, which is never, is I guess when I just want to stand still and fight something. Let me put on booster, because my attack speed... Oh, I don't have a weapon equipped. Alright, so now that I have a weapon equipped, I can use booster, which means I can attack faster. So when I train as a buck, or second job, pretty much I just use Tornado Uppercut. Because it goes far, I don't have to stick close to enemies, and even if it doesn't kill them, it'll still mob them really close to you. Sadly, I am one-shotting here, even though I'm using the weakest weapon I can. But yeah, it's really good, especially if you do it down a slope, it goes farther. And then the rest are passive. So we got Booster, Knuckle Mastery, HP, just increases your HP. Like I said, the skill will heal you, and Dark Clarity gives you 30 attack. Also, I guess I should mention, in terms of what order I add in skills, I usually do passives first, and at least 1 point into the attacking skills. But that's just me, you can do it in whatever order you want. Eventually all the skills will be maxed anyway. And that's pretty much second job. There is a second property to Corkscrew Blow, which is this punch that I'm doing, which is that you can teleport to enemies, but that's in third job, which I guess I'll move on to. Alright, so now your third job. So you can pretty much throw away Vortex, or Tornado, you're not really going to be using that. Corkscrew you can technically still use. This person's probably wondering why level 250 is here. And the reason that I put that there is just to show you this. So when you use Spiral, and then you use Corkscrew after, you can teleport to enemies, kind of. So I'll attack this way, hold right, and then I use Corkscrew, and it will instantly teleport me to the enemies. Kind of like that. Actually, I think even if I use it up here, it'll teleport me down to them. Nope, maybe not. But anyway. So going over the first skill, Spiral Assault will push you and enemies forward. This is your dash skill, basically, to escape attacks. You can also cancel animations with it, but if you do, the skill will go on a very short cooldown. So let me actually move the new skill over. So here's the teleport. And I don't really use this, but you could, I mean, if you want to. So yeah, your new skills are Spiral Assault and Hedgehog Buster. Well, that's what it's called when you're charged up, and that's probably what I'm going to call it anyway. So let me go ahead and get rid of my energy. This is a hyper skill, I just use it to get rid of energy when I'm recording. And let's add into the new energy. Here we go. Alright, so this is what it looks like. It's called Energy Burst when it's not charged up. And how I train during this job is I use Spiral Assault and just either do this if I'm strong enough, just go back and forth, or I group everything up with Spiral Assault and then I spam Hedgehog Buster. Of course, it's a lot more effective when you're fully charged, but still not a bad skill. And then of course there's smaller maps, you can always go back in here. Someone's in there, so I'm not going to bother them. So as you can see, training Buck, not the most exciting, right? It gets better later, trust me. You can also use Static Thumper, although I don't recommend it, I hate this skill. Probably my least favorite Buck skill. It's strong, goes pretty far, but if you're training in a map that has any kind of slopes or inclines or whatever, the skill sometimes tends to break, as in the full shockwave doesn't come out. So I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. Just choose a random map. So as you can see, because I'm on a slant, it will only send out one shockwave, no matter what direction I'm facing. However, if I'm on flat land, it will, do the full animation. So that's why I don't like that skill. It's also, they keep trying to buff it to make it faster, and I don't I don't see it being useful. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe I'm just salty about, you know, the old Bucks, where the skill was completely useless. It was too slow, didn't do anything, it was terrible. Maybe it's good now. It's not an energy skill, so it will not... Actually, did they make it into an energy skill? Oh, I guess they did. So it increases its damage when you're full. Alright, cool. Yeah, it's an energy skill now. Oh. Anywho, so Hedgehog Buster becomes longer range, so I'd much rather spam this, especially because it's better because it stuns enemies. Speaking of stunning enemies, we have Stun Mastery. When attacking a stunned enemy, your crit rate increases by 60%. And because Bucks are already at 40%, it just means that you have 100% crit rate on a stunned enemy. And this skill has a, I think, 50% chance to stun enemies. 50% chance to stun enemies, which means you'll have 100% crit rate on just enemies that are stunned. Of course, you can't stun bosses, so that sucks. But you do get 20% extra crit rate on bosses, thanks to this skill. Any skills I didn't mention? Oh, dice, of course. So with roll of the dice, you can roll, well, a dice. And there I got a 1, so I didn't get anything. However, if you end up rolling a 1, the cooldown is reduced from the skill. Because the cooldown is usually 180 seconds, but it got reduced because I got a 1. And then of course, depending on what numbers you roll, a 1 is nothing, 2 is HP, or 2 is defense and magic defense, 3 is HP and MP, 4 is crit rate, 5 is damage, and 6 is EXP. In 4th job, you'll see that you eventually get 2 dice, and it just stacks. It makes it better by 10%, I think, for most of them. So yeah, good to have double dice. And I think that's it for 3rd job. Oh, and of course the other passive, which it decreases the damage that you take by 20%. So next we move on to 4th job skills. You get Octopunch, your main attacking skill, or main bossing skill. Dragon Strike. This skill is mainly used to debuff enemies. It lets you do 20% extra final damage to bosses, and you can only use it when fully charged. Nautilus Strike, which pretty much is a full screen attack. I mean, it's not full screen, but it's a lot of the screen. Does some decent damage, and also when using certain skills, you get 2 extra hits, kind of like final attack. So if I were to, I don't know, attack this, then you can see this enemy over here takes 2 hits. You can see like the blue sparks, and now it's sitting down here. You can see this enemy getting hit by it. Of course, if you're bossing, the boss will be getting hit by those hits. And then we have Buck Blast, which is your laser. If you're not charged, doesn't go very far. They did make the skill faster, so it's a lot. It just feels so much nicer. And I believe they are going to make it even faster in the next KMS patch. But anywho, and then Crossbones is your buff. This will increase your overall damage by 30%, and it gives you mastery passively. Time Leap. I'll show that when it's off cooldown. There we go. So this will reset the cooldown on your skills as long as they're not hypers or 5th job skills. So you can see down here, dice is now on cooldown. I just got crit rate. And then I'll use Nautilus Strike. I'm even going to use a hyper skill. I'm not supposed to have it yet, but yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and use Time Leap, and you'll see that the cooldowns down here will disappear. And there you go. Now I can use them again. So it's really good if you roll some bad numbers on dice, or if, I don't know, you want to use Nautilus Strike again or something. It's mainly useful for this level 200 skill, because it has a 2-hour cooldown. So, yeah, you can just give everybody this buff every 2 minutes. Not 2 minutes, what was it, 180 seconds? Yeah, 180 seconds. So yeah, there's that. Time Leap is somewhat useful, I guess. Speed Infusion. This will increase your and your party's attack speed by 2. It does not break the soft cap, but it's good. Good skill. it's funny because the decent speed infusion has a better cooldown, but only gives you 1 attack speed. But why is the cooldown better for... Anyway. Not cooldown, duration. Duration. I don't know why I said cooldown. Alright, so next is Maple Warrior. Everyone knows the skill, gives you 15% all stat. I mean, every class has it. Hero's Will. This will ignore, or allow you to ignore abnormal status for 3 seconds. But also if you're already hit by an abnormal status. Let me see if I can get hit by one. I don't remember if these guys do abnormal status. I think they do. But it can... Yeah, it doesn't. It can get rid of it. Yeah, whatever. I'll just do it somewhere else. So you use it. Let's say I got Darkness or Sealed or something. You just use it. Boom. You're good. And then, of course, you can Time Leap that as well. Double Down. So now you can have twice, or twice. Now you can have 2 die. Of course, it doesn't activate all the time. And there I got a 4 and a 6. So now I'm getting crit rate and EXP. Ultra Charge. This is your final energy charge, basically. It's pink. Looks really cool. I don't know why it's pink. But you can see it gives you attack and some other stuff. Of course, you charge twice as fast on bosses. So you pretty much always have your energy charge when you're bossing. Pirate's Revenge. When you take damage, you have a chance to lower that damage that you just took, and it works on percent HP as well. And it'll say a counter above your head like it just did for me there, which will give you extra damage. So it actually gives you damage for taking damage. Interesting, right? You get 25% extra damage, and yeah, reduces the damage that you take on that hit. So there I took 81, 173, and yeah, you can see when it activates I take less damage. Next we have Typhoon Crush. This skill is so good, or it used to be a lot better, but it's so good because it lets you ignore all enemy defense. It used to be not per line, but now it's per line. There's a 40% chance for each line. So I'm going to show that off at Vellum, Chaos Vellum. Wait, no, did I do Chaos Vellum? No, I can show it, So let me just do a little bit of mobbing here first, and then I'll show you how good that skill is. So yeah, you're just going to be spamming laser. That's pretty much your mobbing. I know, still not super exciting. People are just waiting for 5th job. Like, come on, bring out Lord of the Deep. It'll come. Just give it time. I just noticed my pets aren't giving me Maple Warrior. Oh, because it's not on. There we go. So yeah, laser's really good when it's big. However, when it's not, then it's... I think it's also slower. Like, it definitely feels slower. Just trying to use up all my energy right now. So I can show you what the small one looks like when you're trying to train. Alright, here we go. So, it is smaller, but... I mean, it still gets the job done. So this is pretty much your training. Alright, so next I'll show you Typhoon Crush in work. Chaos Vellum requires you to have at least 90% ignore enemy defense. And as you can see, I definitely do not have that, so I'll only be able to hit once. However, because of my Typhoon Crush skill, I'm going to be able to hit, higher numbers. So let's say I put on all of my equips, but I didn't have 90% ignore enemy defense. Well, then I would only be hitting ones on a lot of my attacks, but the ones that did, break the 40% would do full damage. So you can see that I'm doing a lot of ones, but sometimes I get a full damage hit. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to show. It's just that Typhoon Crush is broken. It's so good because you literally ignore all enemy defense. All enemy defense. That is a lot of defense. But I still do recommend hitting the the normal ignore enemy defense that you need to hit. So I do still recommend getting 90%. Anyway, let's move on to hyper skills. And I guess hyper stats as well. So hypers. I highly recommend Saving Grace. Because if Double Down doesn't activate, you know when you get the 2 dice, if that doesn't activate, then there's a 40% chance that the cooldown won't apply, but also Double Down will activate for the next 4 times that you use it. So let's go ahead and see if Double Down activates. It did not. And the skill didn't go on cooldown. Or, I mean the skill didn't not go on cooldown. So, oh, it's a 40% chance, that's why. So I'm going to go ahead and use Time Leap, so I can do it again. Alright, so Double Down activated. Of course I got a 1 and a 3, so it's not really going to help much. But yeah, definitely add this. This is super helpful. Let me get on a rope here so I can actually see. So yeah, absolutely add Double Down Saving Grace. So if you're mobbing, I would recommend adding Buccaneer Blast, 20% damage, as well as number of lines +1. And then for your last point, because you only get 5, I would add into number of lines for Octopunch +1. However, if you're bossing most of the time, then I would recommend all 3 Octopunch, and then the number of lines for Buck Blast. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So this is what it looks like when I'm just bossing, like my normal stuff. But if you're training and you're not 5th job yet, I would recommend 20% damage on Buck Blast, as well as number of lines, and then you can use your last point on number of lines on Octopunch. But bossing wise, or endgame, 5th job, this is what I would recommend. Alright, so next we oh, and if you want to see what the other ones are, the other dice skills, this adds a 7 to your dice, so now it's a 7-sided die. And what 7 does is gives you ignore enemy defense, which again Bucks don't need as much, but you could use it if you want. And then this, it's a very small chance from what I've heard to increase the chance of getting a 4, 5, or 6 on your dice. I heard that the chance is like a 5% increase or a 10% increase, but I'd much rather just have Saving Grace. But that's just to tell you what those do. Next we have the active skills. Stimulating Conversation is your 140 skill, which will increase your boss damage passively, and then increase your actual damage by 20%, and also charge your energy. So let's say I had no energy right now. It would instantly charge me, and then every few seconds, I think it's like 3 seconds or something, maybe 5, then it will charge energy. So I just used it, now I'm at full energy. I'm going to go ahead and use energy, and then you'll see it go up. So there it went up. I'm not going to do anything again. So yeah, over time it'll charge your energy for you while the buff is activated. Okay, it's more than 5 seconds. But yeah, very useful skill, especially just to instantly charge yourself. And it also gives you a damage buff. Next is Power Unity, which you get at 160, which you can only use when you're fully charged. And if you use it, it looks like this. It's very strong. Hits a lot of enemies, does good damage. It can reach higher spots than your laser can, but it does have a cooldown of only 10 seconds though. So the other reason you would want to use this is because it also increases your crit damage by 10% for each use. And that can stack up to 4 times, which you can see up here. So if you're at 100% crit rate, boom, that's instant 40% extra damage. But yeah, it's really nice. Let's see, anything else I want to mention with that? Not really. Okay, so next is Epic Adventurer, which will increase you and your party's damage by 10%, and that applies to explorers in your party. And it can also stack with other explorer skills as well, or explorer epic adventurers. Alright, so I think that's it for that. Hyper stats wise, honestly I just do whatever. You can scroll down. There's a bonus stuff here, like bonus EXP and whatever. You get Arcane Force after you get a 5th job. Then you can add into it if you need more Arcane Force to do your dailies or get your quest done. I mainly focus on damage. If I'm bossing a lot, boss damage. If I'm mainly training, I'll add into EXP, damage, and crit rate if needed. If you don't need crit rate, however, then crit damage. I don't really do the stats unless, you know, Demon Avenger or Kana or any of these classes that use these. But yeah, I don't really do that. Damage, crit rate, or crit damage are like the most important to me. And then if I'm still training, bonus EXP is also really good. I think level 10 is 10%, no, 5% EXP? Whatever, any EXP is EXP, right? I guess you can do attack power if you want, but I don't usually add into this. Or at least it's not priority. Alright, so are we on to 5th job? I think we are. Alright, so 5th job skills. I did actually forget to get level 1 skills, so I guess I'll just show off the maxed out versions. So, we have... You know what, let me do this. Yeah, we don't need that. I guess I'll go over the pirate ones, or buck ones. Serpent Vortex allows you to dash upwards, sideways, or down. And it does a lot of lines, I think 10 lines, if I'm not mistaken, yep. Does some pretty good damage. Of course it's not maxed out for me, but this is a good mobility option because you only have flash jump before this, before 5th job. So it's really good to just get around. However, it has charges. As you can see down here, there are numbers next to the icon. Right now I have 2 charges, so I can use it 2 more times, and then I have to wait, or else I can't use it. So yeah, that's that skill basically. Oh, and I guess there's a half a second cooldown, but I don't really need to mention that. Lord of the Deep. Everybody loves this skill. Everyone says it's OP. It's really only OP if you're one-hitting with it. Because if you're one-hitting with it, that is loud. Because if you're one-hitting it with it, then you could just jump across the map and kill everything. But if you're not one-hitting with it, then yeah, you're gonna have to use your laser. So, next is... Oh, I guess I should mention more things about Lord of the Deep, huh? It's such a godly skill that I forgot to mention the other stuff. So, it is a toggle skill, and you can only use it when your energy is on your screen. So, you can see there's no little bar here showing that I have energy. And now it's back. As long as this is on your screen... I mean, kind of. There's sometimes what it won't. Anyway. Basically, if this is on your screen, whether you're charged or uncharged, as long as you have any energy in here, then you can activate Lord of the Deep. That's actually a lie, because there is a certain amount of energy you need, which is you need 60. You need at least 60 energy. But of course, you gain way more energy than that in a single hit, so... And of course, I'll go over how to like maintain it and keep it up and everything. Meltdown. So, Meltdown instantly charges all of your energy. However, unlike Stimulating Conversation, it will not continue to recharge your energy. But it does instantly charge you. You're able to teleport left, up, or left and right, up and down. So this can be another good mobility option. It also goes really far. You get used to the distance, though. Eventually. And not only that, but if you press the skill again while you're transformed, you get to throw Spirit Bombs. And those Spirit Bombs do a lot of damage. However, you only get 2 uses unless your skill is maxed out. Once the skill is maxed, you get 3 orbs. And if you saw there was like a little flash of another icon. And that was invincibility. So you actually get invincibility with this skill now. Although it's like half a second, so it's not really that noteworthy. I think it's actually a full second. But depending on how you use it, you can either survive Lucid's Dragon, Dragon Breath, if you really space it correctly, like you have to use it like 1, 2, 3, like that. But yeah, otherwise, I pretty much use it for damage, unless I'm super about to die. Like, I know I'm about to die and I need the iframes. So, not only does it transform you and let you teleport, but it also gives you extra damage. So, yeah. Oh, final damage, I should say. Final damage, that's even better. So, really good skill. Lasts for a good while if it's maxed. Again, you only get 2 orbs if you're not maxed. Next, we have the common skills. So, Overdrive gives you really good damage. Attack power 80% based on the attack power of the weapon. So, a really good burst skill. Because as long as the duration is going, which is of course 30 seconds, you get a big damage boost. And then when it's on cooldown, you actually lose damage, but it's only 15% compared to the 80% that you got. So yeah, it's not bad. It's a really strong skill. You can see my range went up. And then once it goes on cooldown, you'll see my range drop. There we go. So not too much of a range drop. And then of course I'll show you what it's like when it's back to normal. Next we have Loaded Dice. This skill allows you to choose whatever dice you want. So you get to choose the dice that you want. So let's say I'm training. I choose 6. If I roll dice now, I guarantee myself a 6, and then the other 2 are still random like normal. So here you go, my range again. And then my range will go back to normal once that buff is over. And there we go, my range is back to normal. And then I can use the skill again. So, what was I going over? Oh, right, dice. So the guaranteed one is always on the top, and then the 2 random ones are on the bottom. And of course it gives you attack passively. Let's see, I went over all of these. So next we go over Pirate's Banner. Really good party skill. Increases you and your party's all stats, as well as decreases, if a boss goes into this area, decreases their defense. So really, really good party skill. And then of course decent HS is just HS, but decent. So it's like half the effect. But oh, it's more than half actually. But yeah. Urda Nova allows you to bind an enemy. So this is our only form of bind. It might actually kill. Yeah, it killed. Basically, it just keeps them still for 10 seconds. I use Sharp Eyes because, I don't know, I like having 100% crit rate. Can't see it now, but yeah. Rope Lift. So Rope Lift is another common skill, like any class can get it. And this is super helpful for Bucks, because Bucks don't really have vertical mobility aside from this skill and teleport when you're Meltdown. So super useful to get around. And I think that's... oh, and of course the Maple Warrior skill. So Maple Warrior, God blessing, whatever it's called, Maple World. So this will increase your percent damage, you and your party's percent damage, as well as increase how effective Maple Warrior is. So, very, very strong skill. Mine's not maxed yet, but here's what it looks like. Oh, and of course I'll show you the stat increase. So yeah. Pretty good, pretty good. And then of course with the flag. And yeah, that's all the 5th job skills. Or at least all the ones I want to mention. This is something you get from Will, so yeah, it's whatever. I think that's all I want to go over. So alright, let me do a little bit of training in 5th job. Because even I haven't done training with Buck without Lord of the Deep one-hitting. So I'll show you the difference between training with Lord of the Deep one-hitting and Lord of the Deep not one-hitting. And I'll show you why Lord of the Deep isn't as powerful as you think it is. Although it is very, very powerful. So, let's go ahead and do it. So as you can see, I'm not one-hitting with it, so I can't just kill everything. But, oh my god, that's loud. But you can use it to enhance your overall damage with laser. So just keep everything cornered, and fire your laser in there. Once again, make sure everything is together. I mean, you don't have to push them all together, but it helps Lord of the Deep do damage. And then once it runs out, activate it again after you do an attack. And yeah, it makes training a lot easier. Oh, and of course, you can transform. Oh, you can also use the spirit bombs to regain energy. And then, of course, there's Lord of the Deep training with one-shotting, which looks like this. I don't know if you want to see what stat I have right now. Let me use this rune real quick. It's making it hard to read. There we go. So as you can see, training is really easy if you're one-shotting with Lord of the Deep. Because all you have to do is jump around. So once your energy starts running low, Use Spirit Bomb. Energy's running low again. Stimulating conversation. Alright, so energy ran low, hit something, and then Lord of the Deep, and then just continue to hit things. You should be able to get more energy than Lord of the Deep is using, as long as you're one-shotting. If you're not one-shotting, then things get a little more difficult. Oh, I have no more uses. I was trying to do the dash. Alright, but yeah, that's pretty much training if you're one-shotting. So because I've pretty much done all my bosses today, I'm either going to put this part with Dojo in, or I'm going to put my Lucid boss run in, and just like talk over it. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, your bossing is just Lord of the Deep and Octopunch until you're fully charged. Make sure you activate your dice as well as Nautilus Strike in order to get extra damage. And of course I'm not doing this with full gear because I'll be one-shotting, and that won't really show off the class. Let me see what my stat is right now. Yeah, we're at 3k, so we're basically as strong as all my other classes. I think I would have to get rid of these actually. You would spawn on that side. There we go. So now I should be at... No, that is even lower than I thought it would be. So yeah, if you use Dragon Strike, you'll see that they have a little Dragon Strike symbol on them, which means you'll be doing more damage to that boss, or that enemy. And then I also have 50% or 55% crit rate right now. But because I'm fighting bosses, it goes up to 75% because I get 20% extra. So Nautilus Strike, Dragon Strike, make sure you use Power Unity to get that extra crit damage. Energy's gone. Activate Lord of the Deep after using a single hit. We got double fives, which is really good. I'm gonna go ahead and use Overdrive here. I could use Stimulating Conversation and Meltdown to instantly charge my energy. And probably should, but I'm so used to not having to use them. Unless I'm like really... Unless I really need energy or something. So with situations like this, I like to use Spiral Assault, just in case he teleports behind me, like that. Of course he just teleports right after. Alright, another strike. Let's go ahead and use Stimulating Conversation, just to get that extra damage. And also charge our energy, just in case. Let's go use Meltdown. Use our flag. Ooh, how'd I end up over there? You know what? Let's use the Bind to keep him still. And then, use Overdrive. And just destroy him with those Spirit Bombs. And that's basically buck bossing. It's very simple. You just want to make sure you maintain the Power Unity buff, keep it at 4. Use Dragon Strike, either as soon as it's off cooldown, or you can wait until that debuff symbol appears, or it disappears. I like to just use it whenever it's off cooldown, or a little bit after, because technically the debuff lasts longer than the cooldown. As you can see, okay, now it just disappeared, but I had the cooldown off a long time ago. The only skills that I think ignore damage reflect are Nautilus Strike, the Spirit Bombs from Meltdown, and Lord of the Deep. Oh, you can also just spam this skill downwards to be able to do some decent damage as well. Alright. And that's pretty much buck bossing. I might just play over the Lucid thing anyway, just to show you what it's like in my actual boss runs. But yeah, I think that'll do it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you in my next video. And let me know if you want me to change anything about these. I am planning on doing a shorter version of this video, but yep, I'll probably ask you what you think of that as well. And yeah, have a great one. Goodbye. Okay, so gonna be going over what I do to give you an idea of how to play Buck during bossing. Here we're gonna be doing Lucid. This is actually my best run that I've done ever so far, but maybe one day I'll actually be able to kill her. So I'm gonna go ahead and use all my buffs, make sure I bind. I think I'm gonna use Spirit Bomb soon. Yeah, here it comes. Make sure I Dragon Strike for the debuff. No Spirit Bombs. I guess I was waiting to see if she would do Dragon early. But yeah, activated Lord of the Deep, making sure I'm dodging things. And just using Octopunch. I just noticed that I forgot to put on normal damage numbers. I have my star damage skin on right now. Alright, here comes Dragon, the moment I've been waiting for. So instead of using Spirit Bombs for damage, I'm going to use it for invincibility frames. So I'm spacing it out so that I get the full invincibility to cover the Dragon Breath. Instead of just using all 3 instantly, I space it out so that I get the full 3 seconds of invincibility. And now I'm just doing damage. Of course, Bucks don't have a way to deal with bombs, so if I end up getting a bomb right now, I'm pretty much dead. But so far, damage not looking bad. The mushroom is messing me up. Luckily I killed it right before it killed me. Activate Lord of the Deep, yep. And just keep punching. Get our energy up and use Dragon Strike. There's Dragon Strike. Probably Power Unity soon. I'm gonna die because the golem landed on me. I didn't even see it. So using invincibility from the Resistance Link skill to get back to where I was. and then punching again. But yeah, this is basically how I play Buck. It's just a lot of punching, Dragon Strike, and Power Unity. Of course, I got teleported there, so I died. I think she just summoned Dragon, yep. So I'm just gonna stay dead so I don't die. Let me see. I did a little bit of second phase. Maybe I should skip ahead to that. Maybe I'll upload the full version of this video eventually. Maybe just play music over it or something. Here I'm just using lasers so I don't hit her main body. Because if you hit her main body, she'll actually attack you. But of course I get the full laser, so I end up hitting her body, so I'm like, you know what, might as well keep doing it. She also doesn't summon golems if you don't hit her main body after a while. Like, she just doesn't do anything. It just gives you time to hit golems. Anyway, let's skip ahead. Alright, so now we're in second phase, and now I can show a little bit more mobility. Get away from those sickles. I did forget to put on rope lift, which eventually ended up ending my run. I don't usually die in second phase, but I guess I was just very happy that I hit second phase for the first time. Because normally I get stuck in first phase, because either bad luck, or not enough damage to get to the next phase. Yeah, it's all luck based. So now she summoned Dragon, so I'm just going to stay at the top. Looks like she's doing laser, so I'm going to have to move around in a bit. Really, you only have to walk the laser, but because Dragon was going on, I had to jump from that platform to the other one. Alright, probably going to go to the blue platform, put the flag down. And when she appears, use Dragon Strike. She's all the way over there. So here I don't have any protection against the bomb, so I'm just going to have to take it. And there's touch, so I get blown up. And I just wait for touch to be done. But yeah, as you can see, you have a lot more mobility. Or you can use your mobility in this stage a lot more. So I can like travel to the bottom, I can travel up. It's very nice. Another dragon. She's really trying to kill me. But yeah, I think I do have the damage to kill her. I just got extremely unlucky. And then here come the sickles. And there goes my run. So basically what happens in the first phase is I got hit by bombs and dragons at the worst times. I didn't have any iframes. But anyway, hope you enjoyed. Hope this explained a little bit of how bucks work. And yeah, see you in the next one.